Donald Trump is absolutely not messing around. Has just declared a state of national emergency, and things are ramping up. People out there are getting a little uncomfortable with everything going on in the U.S. economy right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's meetings going on in Dubai that will hopefully bring an end, a peaceful end to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. There's all sorts of stuff to discuss in this video. I want to talk about Trump talking about Thomas Massey, saying that he should be primaried. This is definitely a division. There's a lot of things talking about, hey, the price of eggs went down. The price of eggs is now lower than when Donald Trump took the presidency. So that's good. Gas prices are down. Things are moving in the right direction. But let's talk about this first. Trump declares a national emergency on electricity and says Canada will become a cherished 51st state. I mean, he's back on his troll game, doing a little trolling. He's doing a little trolling. Maybe not, though. President Trump will declare a national emergency on electricity in the United States and double the tariffs on aluminum and steel from Canada after retaliatory tariffs from America's neighbor, due to retaliatory tariffs from America's northern neighbor. The president, in a lengthy post on Truth Social on Tuesday, also threatened to permanently shut down the Canadian auto sector. The only thing to make his tariff stop is for Canada to become the 51st state, he noted. Trump is doubling down on his trade battle as stocks continue to drop. The increase in tariffs from 25 to 50% will go in effect tomorrow, he said. Based on Ontario, Canada placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming from the United States, I've instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world, Trump declared. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts when you think about it. Like, I thought that this would kind of be over by now, but it's definitely ramping up. I will shortly be declaring a national emergency on electricity with the threatened area. I think when you declare a national emergency, it affords you more options to deal with the pricing or subsidizing pricing, or give you more, tools to act with. Ontario Premier Doug Ford put a 25% tariff on Canadian electricity to Michigan, New York, and Minnesota on Monday, in response to earlier tariffs on Trump. Ford, who runs Canada's most populous province, said he's ready to shut down electricity completely if America continues to escalate. Now, just so people know, how this works, this isn't like, this isn't like these people are going to go without electricity. We buy electricity, but we can provide it ourselves too. You see this. Trump also warned that auto tariffs are coming April 2nd. If other egregious long-time tariffs are likewise not dropped by Canada, I will substantially increase on April 2nd the tariffs on cars coming into the United States, which will essentially permanently shut down the automotive manufacturing business in Canada. He closed with an offer to drop all tariffs if Canada agrees to become the 51st state of the United States. Now, let me tell you this. I thought he was kidding. I thought he was kidding about this thing, but he may be dead serious about it. The only thing that makes sense is for Canada to become our cherished 51st state. Then this would make all the tariffs and everything else totally disappear, he wrote. The Dow plunged in reaction to Trump's latest tariff threat. On Monday, there were fears of a recession would be sparked when the markets tanked, resulting in NASDAQ Composite's biggest loss since 2022. Trump's ramp-up of the trade war with Canada comes after Ottawa's retaliation to the U.S. tariffs imposed last week. He'll get a chance to defend the latest round of tariffs when he speaks to the Business Roundtable, a trade association of CEOs, on Tuesday evening. That's tonight. He argued that the tariffs are a transition, but also wouldn't rule out a potential recession. I hate to predict things like that. Trump said on Fox News Channel Sunday Morning Futures, there's a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. There's there are always periods of it takes a little time, but I don't think it should be great for us. I think it should be great. Now I'll tell you this much. If true, right? It's what he's expecting Americans to buy into is that this is like a temporary pain for long-term success, which I hope is true. Other people are talking about him kind of tanking the economy so that he can renegotiate the debt later this year as part of a longer play, or he's going to force them to lower interest rates, things of that nature. That's all above my pay grade, but it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Someone needs to rein this madman in and bring him to task. I can't even believe Trump voters support these deranged tariff policies. I support Trump doing what he needs to do to negotiate a better deal for the American people. And I'm not quite sure what that means. How long, we're going to have kind of this prolonged pain. My hope is not forever. But it's not like we're losing on every front. You can see this. Egg prices are down. Gas prices are down. Here are eggs. Here's the median line, I think, probably of where Trump took over. It is now below that. It's went from as high as over $8 per dozen to now $6.08 per dozen. He took over at $6.37 is what I'm guessing that is. January 21st, $6.37. So it's finally below where it was. It obviously needs to get back down to $2 or $3, but that's going to take some time. Chicken's got to grow up. They got to grow up. They got to meet that special other chicken who wants to spend time with them and, make eggs with them and things of that nature. So it takes a little time. Here's gas prices. I was just driving by Saturday, actually, and gas here in Wisconsin is well under $2 or under $3 a gallon. It's in the low twos, I think, $2.30 or $2.40. I was driving by. I was like, dang, gas is cheap. You see U.S. retail gas market. You go back in July, it was $4 or $5 a gallon. This isn't really marked. Right now, the national average is at $3.19. I'd like to see that below $2, obviously. Closer to $2 would be what I would call a win. But you see here, Trump's 25% tariff on Canadian steel hits back at Ontario's power games. They target our homes while failing to stop fentanyl. U.S. steel jobs surge as tariffs work. Globalist rage. America wins. I mean, that's how I'm looking at this. Like, there is nothing we buy from Canada that we can't make ourselves here in America. So why not kind of embrace that? Okay, we're going to put a tariff on it. Somebody's going to step up to fill that gap. Somebody's going to step up to fill the need, right? That's how the economy works. Some people were priced out before, so they stopped making a product, and now they're priced back in due to the tariffs. So they fill in the gaps. Everybody who's freaking out about the tariffs, I am not worried about the tariffs at all. I'm not. If you ask me that question and it's June and we still have the tariffs, yes, okay. I will probably start to be worried about them. But I'm only going to be worried about them if other things haven't corrected, right? Well, the tariffs are bad. Well, okay, but I can buy steel in America for cheaper now than before. So why is that a bad thing? Or whatever the case may be, right? On top of that, the 51st state thing is pretty bonkers. I never thought he was serious, and I still have a hard time believing that he's serious. But it's also hard to say he isn't serious. I don't know. He keeps saying it, especially when he says stuff like, the only way to make it stop is to become the 51st state. Is kind of like, I think he might be serious. Also, Donald Trump goes after Thomas Massie. It sparked a bit of Republican pushback. I want to go to the actual tweet. GOP Trump says GOP Representative Thomas Massie should be primaried for opposing measure to avert government shutdown. President Trump on Monday called for a fellow Republican to challenge Representative Thomas Massie in a primary election of the congressman's opposition to a continuing resolution that would keep the government from shutting down. Massie, a hardline conservative, has pledged to vote against a Trump-backed measure that would increase defense spending while decreasing most non-defense spending below 2024 levels through the end of September. The bill, which cleared the House Rules Committee on Monday, has earned the support of conservative House Freedom Caucus and would keep the government shutdown from taking place at midnight Friday if it passes the full House and Senate. Now, I don't always agree with everything Thomas Massie has, said or had an opinion on, but I would argue that he's been pretty principled. And I don't, it wasn't that long ago where people were saying like, oh, he'd be good for the head of the agricultural, all this kind of stuff. He also stood up against a lot of the COOF stuff. So this may just be Trump's art of the deal, he's not afraid of being primaried in response to a TikTok Tommy tweet directed at him from former Trump campaign manager. Someone thinks they can control my voting card by threatening my reelection, the congressman said. Guess what? Doesn't work on me. 3 times I've had a challenger try to be more MAGA than me. None busted 25% because my constituents prefer transparency and principles over blind allegiance. Look, Trump, he's got a reason for a lot of the things he does, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. You're not going to hit 100. You're not going to bat 1,000. You're not going to, make 100% of the shots you take. Trump has done things that I've disagreed with before. I'm not going to, I'm not going to go, nuclear over us and bend, and freak out about it. I think this is Trump just trying to get Massie to get in line. Massie's not going to get in line. That's all this is. I don't really think this is a much bigger deal than that. But we'll have to see how all this shakes out. I really, really appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the channel and the videos. If you are, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't, please subscribe or follow down below. And we'll talk to you again real soon.